Can't hear you. No. Can you hear me? No sound.
Hi, Rusty. Not sure if you managed to do anything with the sound. No, you might have to.
Well, you don't
I don't
know
think you
how
can hear
hard that discussion was. It was
What's
so
that, Jeff?
hard for me not to smart off in that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
Hang in there, Jeff.
I'm
I'm
trying.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
Trying, that's good.
Try
You know what we
it.
could do,
Holy
Jeff?
God.
Whenever they start talking about electronics, I could play a video of me flying in the background and hear some engine noise.
Yeah, that would work for me.
What do you got, Steve?
That's just
Oh man.
Oh, shut up.
Steve got.
Steve's got something.
Okay,
Here's
here you
what
go.
I did.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
let's
share the
check it
screen
out.
with you guys.
Hey, Steve,
Oh,
whatever happened
it's
to
a
that profile?
score. Take
Oh,
the
that's pretty cool.
And then that'll go under here.
Mhm.
All right. What is
That'll
it?
work.
What motor?
It's a score.
It's broken.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
score. I had one of those. Oh,
But it has
I
a
had two of
radial
them.
mount on it.
what?
So
Yeah.
it was just simple to turn the mount at 40 some degrees.
Yeah.
Or,
Good idea.
The biggest
That's a
problem
great
I had.
idea. I like that idea.
All right,
I
Tom.
like that idea. That's a good idea.
Tom, here you go. I'm gonna share. You guys mind if I share the screen and show Tom something?
No,
I'm
knock
gonna
yourself
bore you
out,
to death.
Trent.
Okay. Okay. Share.
I
Do you
just,
see this, Tom?
yes.
Okay. So
Oh, no,
So-
it's electric.
so this is the this is the setup part of it. This is all from the setup, the beginning of the program, and this is the void setup. This is the stuff that runs one time. Okay. Wow, looks like I put my accelerometer stuff. It's all in here. You see it? This is all accelerometer stuff, right?
Okay.
All right. So you say, take this guy and move it into here. This is the flight. You see that?
Yes.
Flight power says, if the time is from here to here, do this. So this is the loop. So you're saying maybe before the loop to move the stuff up there and have this guy run up there.
Yeah. And you'll have to have a way to time before it starts though, if you want to delay it.
Well, whatever command shuts off your startup routine, couldn't that be something to start up your accelerometer routine?
Yeah, but yeah, this is what this is where the time frame. This is where the body of the flight. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is the takeoff. You see, this is
Yeah.
takeoff, flight power, right?
Right.
So it says if the time is from here to here. See, this is an internal clock. That's as soon as you turn it on, it starts to count the milliseconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the milliseconds are from here to here, right? Okay, then it says do this stuff, right?
Right.
So here,
Yeah, I heard Rusty.
so what happens here? What I've just done, I've just moved all the accelerometer stuff in here, so it starts to read the information from the accelerometer and just start to talk to the accelerometer. So you think this is gonna work?
Well, you can try it and see, right?
Or you could save yourself a whole lot of trouble and just put a Fox 35.
All right.
Or you could, okay. How about an
Yeah.
OS Max S35?
Yeah, that's it. I don't think that's part of that's not part of the programming language, though.
Yeah.
You say if now then Fox. We don't want to have him Fox up his program. All right. So.
No, we could also ask him to
Okay.
put in a 1.21 gigawatt flux capacitor.
That's it.
All right.
That's so funny.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tom. I'll
Yep.
I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do with it.
Train, in all honesty, I really hope that helps you out. Because I know absolutely nothing about what you're talking about.
Well, just imagine this. It's like that's the beauty of electrics, once, and with anything, as a matter of fact, if you want something bad enough, you learn it and you get it done, right? And
Well, yeah,
and
that's-
none of this stuff is super complicated, right? It's just a matter of just understanding. It's just like learning a new language, right?
It's a matter of how much time you want to put into learning how you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's
So-
not super complicated, but it's more complicated than what I can do.
Can anybody hear me now?
Yeah,
Hey,
we can hear
Rusty.
you, Rusty.
I hear you.
Yep.
All right.
Give me a thumbs up because I can't hear you.
Oh, we can hear you
Okay, well,
perfectly.
You're
50,
coming
50.
in great, Rusty.
Let me see.
But now we can't see you no
I
more.
think I can fix that in just a second here.
I
Say
hear
something.
you, Rusty, but I can't see you.
Or maybe a couple of thousand seconds.
Couple thousand seconds. All right. So
Ah,
Looks like Bill's trying to join in now too.
hey, I can hear you.
All righty.
Now we can't see you. It says you got your camera shut off.
It says everything keeps turning off. Hang on, I'm turning the camera back on.
When you
Rusty,
get old,
Rusty.
everything quits working.
Rusty must have bought a new computer.
Don't get old.
Yeah.
Well, me or
Stay
the
young.
computer?
Hey,
Yeah, but
I
if you
changed
stop
mine.
getting old, everything quits working too.
Well, it's not about not getting old. It's about not letting old get you.
Well, you know what the worst part about it is? I went out flying last Tuesday, and I felt like I had to spray WD-40 in my wrist just so I could work the handle.
Mhm.
Hey, Rusty. welcome
was the
to
Fox
show.
45 plane?
Fox
Boy,
35.
it's good to be back.
35. Okay, what's the Fox 35 plane?
Yeah, I was a ringmaster.
Okay, so you could take say castor oil and just
That's
I
it.
ended up, instead of
Let me
using
see if I got it.
WD-40, I ended up using fuel. And that pretty much fixed it.
Who just? I was gonna say who? Oh, Len dropped out.
Now he's back. Or trying.
Yeah, Lynn does
Back.
that.
Well, it looks like the YouTube finally came back.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get that. I guess I need to open YouTube and grab that chat box. God, I hate to click anything right now. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Hey, Mike.
Rusty, stop training it up.
I got a question, Dennis.
Good for you.
Have you ever did a lost foam wing? I guess it doesn't matter because they'd all be about the same. But so I got this one set
Mhm.
so I can get the other one done. And I did the outboard first, and I got thinking because I weighed everything that I cut out of it, stuff like that.
Oh my God, he's thinking.
And I saved about what was it? Like 4.5 grams of weight.
Wow, on an outboard wing,
Yeah. And it's like
but
I
pressure.
should have probably just left them all. Does it matter? Is it better to stick your weight at the tip because you lose less, or does it matter if you have it stretched over the whole wing?
You know
Well,
how much? Do you know how much you save to that off of that tip weight, or how much you're gonna shift the CG of the panel? If you think a moment of inertia of the panel itself, you're gonna shift it by probably 1/16 of an inch with those 4 grams, if that. It's zero, means nothing.
The worst part about it, Train, is you got to think about it like I do. if you're a hack flyer like I am, I'm lucky to bring a plane home without taking a garbage bag with me. And if you're a hack flyer like me and it weighs 10 pounds, as long as the engine will pull it off the ground, you're doing good.
No, but my whole question was the outboard wing has to be, you got to add weight to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it matter where you put the weight, on the tip or over the whole wing?
The
On the
farther
tip.
out the weight
purpose-
is, the less you have to add.
Yeah, that kind of really sums it up. I mean, the most effective place to put the wingtip weight is as far out from the center of the airplane as you can get. You get the least amount of weight, or you can take your 1 ounce of weight and distribute it over the whole wing and add about 3 ounces to get the same effect. So
That's
is it
kinda
worth
like
hollowing the
deciding
ribs
those-
out? I don't know. If you hollow out the ribs so much that you're breaking them all the time, it's probably not worth it. But
It's kind of like deciding. It's kind of like deciding nose weight and tail weight. Do I put the tail weight right behind the flaps? If you want to add a half a pound, yeah, go ahead. You want to add a 1/4 ounce? Put it clear at the tail.
yeah,
A 1/4 ounce of weight at the tail is a lot more leverage than a half ounce of weight. You know what I mean? It's all. It doesn't matter. It's all relative to what you're working with. It's all off the center. Where do you want it to balance, and what do you want it to do? How well do you want it
Steve,
to fly?
it's moment. It's just very simple. If this is your wing, this span, right? If you
Yeah.
put the weight in the center and you multiply the weight by the distance from here to here, from the center of the plane to your weight, okay, you can have like a 2 ounce weight, and let's say this is 10 inches, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the moment is 2 times 10, right?
You're going to be 2/10 on the tip.
Okay. Now, if you go on a tip, you have 1 ounce at 20 inches, and it gives you the same effect. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. That's all there's to it. So that's the same thing. It's in the other direction. If you put it on a tail, if you put it right next to the CG, maybe 1 inch inside, and you put 1 ounce 1 inch inside, is the equivalent of 1/10 of an ounce 10 inches out. Same effect, right? So that's all there's to it. It's just simple multiplication, right?
So it would. That's what my question was. Would I have, like, when you're in dirty air or whatever, and your wing is bouncing up and down?
Mhm.
Does a half an ounce at the tip have any difference than a full ounce in the middle on making
Same
it
thing.
rock?
It's same thing.
In my opinion, in all honesty, I've been through a lot of planes that have bounced in the wind, and my experience with that is the fact that the leading edge was too sharp, and usually the airfoil is too thick all at the same time.
Well, that's inherited because of the planes that we build. As we're going again to the wing platform,
Way too much
Because-
wing area.
way too much thickness on the tip of the wing.
Mhm.
They create so much lift. Then you have these tips. They want to fight each other. Like, let me lift. I'm lifting. Now, if you have most of the lift in the center, then the plane is nice and even, right? Because
Yeah, if
the
you
lift
throw-
is
if-
concentrated. If you concentrate
If you
it
go
on the
from-
tips, he wants to do this.
Yeah, if
So-
you
Yeah,
go from
wing
2
walking,
inches in the center to like an inch on the tip, then you got a really great wing taper.
Yeah, I mean, you need a lot more than the normal that we do. I know we usually go like, I've seen most of the designs, because we keep this center section of the core of the wing kind of constant in thickness. We end up like 18% on the root and about 22 on the tip.
Well, my home built is like that. It's going to be
Yeah.
scary to fly.
I mean, we are lucky because we have the lines that connect the plane to the pilot, right? Otherwise, if it was an RC plane, it would be just almost uncontrollable in this direction.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So, and look at the planes that flies best in the wind, right? And it's a windy problem, right? It's a flying in a wind problem. The plane doesn't do like this when you have no wind, right? But when you start to have wind, it starts to do all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, mine usually don't because they're too heavy.
yeah.
Well, even then, you
My-
know, even
My
I'm
whole
not a
question
big
was,
fan of
is it
weight.
worth all the work of cutting it out?
Probably not.
I would cut it out of the inboard wing so you could run the lead outs and not worry about the outboard.
Well, yeah, you have to do that side, but you know, I know all kits and stuff like that. The outboard,
That's only so they could make
Well,
both
just-
ribs the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you laser cut, you might as well just cut them the same. It's a why waste the time. Run the same program, the same rib, and just space them out differently on one wing than on the other one. Done
Yeah,
deal.
it's
Simple.
easier to make 15 right ribs than it is to make 7.5 lefts and 7.5 rights.
well,
Make
with a
them all the
laser,
same.
it'd be faster just to cut the outsides and not cut the insides.
Yeah, but you got to cut them on the inboard anyway. Why not just cut them all the same? Why waste the time to make two programs when you got to make the same thing over and over and over again?
Yeah,
Plus,
and then
plus
and
having the holes in it, everybody else thinks, oh yeah, it's really light.
Well, yeah, it may take you time to not to put it in side of the ribs,
Mhm.
but the time you would save in cutting it, yeah, power.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if you're buying the ribs from somebody
got-
else, who gives a shit?
you got the head, all that kind of stuff to wear out the more you use it. So my thinking was, why do they do that?
Who cares
It's
why they
simple.
do it?
It's simple. Think about the end user, right? Say you make a kit for someone else, right? You want to have an easy time building it, right? So if that means that, hey, if I make all the ribs the same, then you don't care about like, oh, this one goes on the outboard, this goes on the inboard, this has the cutoff for the lead outs, it doesn't have the cutoff for the lead out. Who cares, you know?
Well,
So-
then you might as well make a
and it's-
straight wing and have all the same ribs and throughout the whole thing and call them number one. That
Then you
would
wouldn't have to
really
take
make
anything in.
building
I'm not
easy
going there.
and
I'm
it'd
not
be a
going there.
whole lot
You
less.
and you know, there's a lot of airplanes that are built like that too, aren't there?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. You know, when you
There's a
and
lot of them
especially
built.
and especially when the ribs are being hand cut and stuff like that, that made a lot of sense. Cut one rib instead of cutting, you know, 10 per side. Now they're laser cut, so it's easier.
But there's a
Yeah.
lot of guys
All
building
right, tell you what. If you were the builder and you're just building away and everything like that, discovered you mixed up, you had some of the ribs with holes and some without, you had them mixed up on the inboard wing. What are you going to do?
Mhm.
Well, what's the second thing you're going to do? I know what the first thing you're going to do is.
First thing
Where?
you're gonna do
Crush.
is
Yeah.
cartoons.
All right. Or you're going to go build the wing. You got all the ones with the holes on one side, all the ones without the holes on the other side, and you discovered that you put them on the wrong side. What are you going to do? You know,
Fly the other direction.
yeah, you're gonna cuss twice as loud, you know. So what? You put all the ribs that are cut the same outside and inside. It doesn't matter where they go.
Mhm.
I can live with that.
And you made
Yeah.
a mistake, just
Doesn't
flip the
matter.
wing over, you're done.
Hey,
It's not that big a deal.
if I tell you what, if you think it's too much work, instead of lost foam, just keep the foam. All right.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about cutting the ribs out. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I did on
Done
one
with
of
it, you
mine.
when you're done with it, you can tear your boat up with it.
No,
Well,
you
that's the
can't.
other thing with lost foam too is that with regular foam, they always core the other side also, and then add tip weight.
Yeah.
You know, that was my question. Does it really matter or not?
I'll tell you what.
It must. Everybody.
Let me make
the other
it.
side.
Let me put it this way. On the inboard and outboard tip, a lot of people will tell you hollow out the inboard tip. You don't bother with the outboard because you don't have to add as much weight, right? I'll
Exactly.
tell you what. I
Right.
hollow out both tips, and I concentrate where the weight is going to go because I know exactly how much is there. I know where it's at relative to all the other axes and everything like that. I don't worry about it. You know, neutralize and basically, you know, both tips are hollowed, both wings are built the same and everything like that. Yes, they're still going to weigh different from side to side, but when I have to go to ballast it or, you know, bounce it or ballast it or anything like that, I know exactly where that weight has to go to have the biggest effect. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
the way I
that,
do it.
that was my question. It's like, then where do you put the tip weight box?
Mine normally goes
far
out
out as you
Put it
can.
right on the
As
CG.
far out as you can.
I usually try to get as far as I can, or if the wingtip is kind of funky or something like that, I'll put it in at the last rib where the
Right.
wing is still pretty well
Yeah,
behaved.
I understand
I
that
agree.
part of it, but where do you put on the CG? Ahead of the CG, behind the CG?
Swag where the CG is going to be, and typically I won't
No.
cut a hole in the spar even at the wingtip to put it at the CG, but I'll put it in directly in front of the spar or directly in back of the
Or just
spar, depending
behind,
where
yeah.
it fits.
I agree.
If
Yeah.
you take a straight edge and put it between the center of the lead outs and the bell crank pivot all the way to the outside tip, that should be the center of your tip weight.
So if you
So-
do what you just said, the tip weight is going to be well forward
Forward
on the
of the
outboard
spar.
tip. Okay,
Should
I've
be
never
Wanna
heard of
hear
that,
some
but that's
No, I haven't either. I've never heard of it and I've never done it.
Ask Sparky, he'll tell you.
Well, if you think
Want to hear some suggestions from the YouTube guys? I got 3 of them out here commenting on building wings. Dennis B says, how about make 2 or 3 less ribs in the wing, still safe, but just as strong. Dennis also says, this is Dennis B on YouTube, said Steve had a lot of ribs there. Gary Sinclair says, make an I-beam wing. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading the messages. So,
Yeah.
I-beam wing is the way to go.
that's it.
Well, that's just, that's like all them ribs. There's 17 on one side, 18 on the other.
You know what? I don't care what kind of wing you guys use. If I can beat you with it, it's good enough for me. I don't care if it's foam, B-tube, I-beam, or any other kind. If it's a wing and I can fly it well, it doesn't matter.
All right, Lan, I'm flying a shoestring with a Fox 35. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Len, are you coming
What are
to
we ready
journal?
for? What are we
Well,
ready for?
I'll be at Whittier Narrows in April.
Where are you going to be in April?
Actually, I crashed my shoestring. I don't have a shoestring anymore. Sorry, I have to bring my ringmaster.
that's
Bring a
okay.
ringmaster.
We could get a bunch of Fox and Goldberg, Sterling and Goldberg kits and do spar fencing or lead edge stick fencing, or see who could beat each other to death.
You could
At
get
our local contests, they want to pick what airplanes I fly.
I could fly my ringmaster. It flies outside tip down about 1.5 inches.
It'll take some weight out of the tip.
No, it's not that, because when I fly it upside down, it flies outside tip up about 1.5 inches.
Then fine. Then you put a trim tab on it till you get it level.
No, just fly it like it is.
Well, don't you want it to fly better?
Nah, it's just a ringmaster. I'm not too worried about it.
What do you guys think 3 extra ribs in each wing actually weighs when they're
About
all
the
cut
weight
out?
about the weight of a school bus.
I'm
They
guessing,
hardly budge.
Well,
I'm
3
guessing
ribs
an
sounds like
extra
about
5
1 sheet
grams.
of balsa.
Pardon me?
I said I'm guessing an extra
Did somebody
5 grams.
I would have
deal.
guessed 10.
Yeah, I'd say 10.
3
It's about a half a sheet of balsa.
Yeah.
3
3
grams.
grams?
3 grams. I weighed them. So,
Why worry about it?
well, it's because everybody cuts out. It's like that has 17 ribs. But my thinking is that instead of using silk spin and dope or adding all this other weight to it, why not make the wings a little stronger, cover it with
Iron on.
coat,
Yeah.
and save 8-9 ounces.
That's a no-brainer.
Got my vote.
So
Steve,
that's why
first of all,
I'm just trying this stuff. That's why I'm asking you guys, because I'm just trying stuff out to see
Oh, I agree.
really what the weight is.
do you need the appearance points right now? Probably not.
No.
Do you go to contests that they do appearance points? Probably not. Who cares? You need the plane that flies well, and you need to
Exactly.
get it quickly in the air. Who gives a rat's ass about the rest of the stuff?
I agree, Train. 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
That's
Agree
why I
too.
say it's like if you know how to fly, the pattern's halfway decent. It's time to get a good plane. Just monocoat it, build it quickly. Have some kind of super reliable power plant, whatever floats your boat, electric. tuna pipe, whatever you're gonna pick, right? Pick your
Well,
poison,
Train,
right?
you've
And then
flown
just go
twisters.
fly. What?
Train, you've flown twisters, you've flown banshees, you've flown chipmunks, right?
No, I flew. I flew the. Actually, I had a very. I told everybody many times, I have very short, repertoire of planes that I actually flew, right? Because I flew like a combat kind of wing, that looked like a orientalish, looked like a
Okay.
combat wing, 2-3 ribs and flaps and stuff like that. That was a plane, and then it was a very bad plane. And after that, I moved up to an SV-12 and with a 46 VF on it. And from that point on, I never looked back.
One of my best learning planes was a Sig Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That thing flew really good.
Okay.
I built it box stock, and I'm not sure it was even straight. And I
Straight
put an
enough.
OS.
Yeah.
I put
If
an OS
it flew
Max.
good, it must have been.
I put an OS Max S35 on it, and I buzzed it up to where it was almost crackling. And my dad let go of it, and I flew it probably for 4 years.
There you go. Yeah.
And then when I finally lost the plane, it took the lug off the side of the motor. It took the crank. It bent the cylinder back. Did a lot of damage.
Oh, you fixed it all right.
No, there was absolutely. I re-kitted it.
You
re-kitted the box had toothpicks. Yeah,
We've all done a few of those.
That thing with it.
Bill,
the worst part about it is
We
that
all have
thing had a
re-kitting
solder
stories.
together push rod.
Bill, what you got there?
Huh?
I got a Viper. Anybody build one of those? Half A Viper.
No.
It's got kind of a diamond airfoil. It's
I've seen it. It's built like a ringmaster.
No.
That'll work.
That's
Yeah,
reminds me of a
Ringmaster.
It's a straight wing.
I
It's
didn't
not like a ringmaster.
Are you going to put an electric motor on it?
Spar.
Rusty,
Bill,
don't you have a Viper?
That's a Hyper Viper.
Oh, a Hyper.
Mine is.
It's a Sterling
top.
kit.
Yeah,
It's pretty heavy. It's for half A. I thought I'd put a TD on it. 149.
Okay.
Can you hold the wing edgewise up to the camera? I'd like to kind of see what that airfoil looks like. Can you hold it up
Let's
close
see
to
it
the
again.
camera?
Probably like the Hots.
Okay.
Okay. Hold it long
Okay.
enough for me to click it up. And
Oh,
come on, click
it's
it.
a diamond shape.
There we go.
Yeah.
It is a true
Okay.
diamond.
Oh, it is a
Okay.
diamond. Yeah.
For a probably it's going
Yeah.
to be just
Okay. It's short couple too. I see the picture on the box. It's pretty short couple tail.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit
That ought to be.
edgy.
There we
Man,
are. Now
that ought to be.
Whoops, gone.
Flyer.
I think it's going to be
Looks
a bit
like
edgy.
It's. I mean,
Yeah, I
Bill,
bet that's a fun plane to fly.
Bill, what do you want to do with it?
Oh, just flat for fun,
Just fly level and then go invert it.
Do some.
Yeah, just learning.
Oh, they'll stunt.
Learning stages right
Yeah.
It'll stunt. It just, it's not going to stunt like a stunt plane, but it'll stunt just
It'll
fine.
be a good, fun little airplane.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
try to concentrate on getting a nice radius on the leading edge,
Uh-huh.
because not a lot they're working for. But if you can get a good transition of airflow from the leading edge, even onto the flat part of the diamond, that'll work. And I've heard of this, and I've never done it myself, so I kind of hesitate to recommend it. I've heard of people who built diamond airfoils, and then they'll put like a 3/16 spar, like in the area where a turbolator spar would be. They'll just basically glue it on top of the ribs, so that if you squint your eyes and look at it, it breaks up the diamond into kind of a flat segmented, more normal looking airfoil. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You get it, it'll go from the leading edge and it'll go up, not right on the diamond, it'll be up from the diamond. And then it'll hit the high point of the wing, so you get this faceted airfoil and stuff like that. But sometimes that can help too. But I've never actually tried it myself, so it's probably bad advice to even mention it. But if I'd say fly it, and if it doesn't fly right, and you want to try it, try it. or even if it flies nice, you might try it just for fun. So,
Well, it's like here's a plan of the JD Falcon.
right.
It has a diamond shaped elevator, stab.
Mhm.
It's like the Nobler. The old Nobler was like that, the green box.
Yeah, the double wedgie, whatever.
Yeah, it's
It
like
looks like the airfoil shape on
Bill,
that stabilizer inverted.
Bill, I have
Did you see what I
That was the rudder shape.
Bill, I have. If I
yeah,
was
that's
to advise
that.
you on what to get and what to fly right now, would be to get like a almost ready to fly something from Brodeck, a flapped plane, a 40 size, and put something with electric power plant. And since you fly RC and flew electric, you should be fine with that. I'll probably just say go straight over there. Don't try to adventure to go. Just play safe with it. Okay, that's all. And it's going to be the bigger place fly a little bit slower, relatively slower. You're going to fly around 5.2 second lap time or something like that, instead of a 4 second lap time. And a 4 second lap time is to 5.2. It's a huge difference, right? It's going to stay on the line. It's going to fly better in the wind. Everything is going to be just better. It's going to make your life easier. That's the idea. Make your life easier, and don't try to do everything in one flight. I mean, just work, just progressive. Just do. Okay, I'm gonna do today. Try this, and just prep yourself. Whatever you want to do, right? And you already said that you know how to do fly level, takeoff, land, right? And maybe do a loop or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
A wing over, maybe.
And with my eyes getting bad, it's easier to find a 60 size airplane in the field when I crash than it is a 49.
Mike, I have one small piece of advice that I know about learning and flying with half A's. Start out just a shade nose heavy. Because if you're tail heavy, you're going to be grabbing a tiger by the tail, and it's a handful.
My advice of learning how to fly with a half A is buy a 40 size.
My advice is, yeah, exactly. Don't.
Because they're night and day, and you're still not breaking the bank, So that's.
I'll tell you what's a good flying half A is the half A Super Clown that Brodeck has. The electric setup. It will fly slower, and you can fly the whole pattern with it. Samantha, can fly the whole damn pattern with that airplane.
I like my Pathfinder.
So I built a Dewey bird, just because I hadn't flown for a long time, and I don't have anybody to help me, so I made up this stooge. It's just I got like a vise, and I got a piece of wood, and a nail goes through there, and then there's a wire in the back of the plane. Well, I was flying it last summer, and I jerked the stooge line out a little bit too hard, and the line got tangled in my legs and feet. And here I'm going around, and I got this line that's wrapping around my legs, and I kept going around and around till I finally tripped. Anyhow, I had mentioned that. I don't know if you guys know Dave G. He goes by Stuka Dave. He writes the safety column in Model Aviation. Well, he thought that was pretty funny, and he put it in the magazine. It was, I don't know what month it was, but it was last summer sometime.
I read that. That was kind of funny.
I have a video of myself getting my ankles tied together by my shoestring one time when I did that. The whole flight's on video of me kicking and trying to get those wires out. And I think I called it the chicken dance, and I had the chicken dance song going in the background. I think I got a copyright infringement for that, but yeah, that's on my YouTube channel way back in 2013.
Yeah, a friend that flew out there to the field with us, he jerked it so hard, the pin came out and went over his lines and wrapped around it. And he threw the handle down. So now he's wrapping around his body and stuff. wrapping him up. But it didn't mess up his feet. It was all around his arms and stuff, but he ended up landing.
That's dangerous.
But
I just noticed our ankles were getting closer and closer together, and all of a sudden I was standing with my feet touching each other and couldn't stop it. And I didn't have the wherewithal to do lazy eights. You know, I think I did a few, but I should have unwound it flying the other way. But I was brand new at the time and just confused. I'd never had anything like that happen. It's hilarious when it happens, though, and it happens to everybody sometimes.
There should be a lesson in all of this about like put a stop cable on your stooge so it'll only pull out so far.
Or
Yeah,
put enough
That's the way
delay
a lot of
time
it-
in your electric airplane, you don't need a stooge.
I just use a
Dennis.
bath mat, fold it in half, and put a
Okay,
wing in it,
Steve.
and then keep it out.
Dennis, do you know if Brodak has like an Oriental profile that's already electric?
No. Do you have conversion kits for any of the build it yourself? So you're talking about like a ready to fly class?
An
Yeah,
ARF.
they have ARF Ringmasters, and they go from Ringmaster to to Vector. I think they may still have some of the old Orientals around. That's about it. But they're all, they go basically the only profile I think they have right now is a Ringmaster.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's just even a Vector electric would be just a wonderful plane. Oh my God, that would be you'd be just.
yeah.
Bill, if you get yourself on a Vector electric and you fly it, buy one from Steve. Go beat him up and steal one from him.
I hate to agree with you on all that, but that Vector is a really good airplane. I love that thing.
I mean, it's a joy to fly. I mean, just like it's so easy to fly. I mean,
and easy to build.
Yeah.
But hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Here's a Ringmaster with
Yeah.
a receiver on it.
That's a flux capacitor.
And all you have to do then is just get you a little from Hobby King. You can get a car deal, a whole setup for $29. Sometimes they're on sale for $19. You walk out to the handle, you pick up the handle, you carry the speed control in the other hand, squeeze the trigger all the way down. That gives you, after you have your RPM set, it takes off. If you get dizzy, whatever, you want to land, let off of the trigger, the plane will land.
Great idea. Yep.
That's how Will Davis is teaching people to fly. He stands beside the.
If you don't have anybody to help you, whatever, this is so easy. You don't need a stooge. You don't need any of that. You could do the same thing with a Vector, with anything. It was just real easy with, this is Dennis's setup. I bought the airplane, the motor, the prop, everything like that. It flies great. We just added that actually for the Ringmaster thing, because you got to do 5 laps to count it as one flight. So we'll just fly 5 laps, land it, take it back off, 5 laps, land it. Easy to get 60 flights in no time at all.
Yeah, we still fly the Ringmaster thing where we pass it around. We pass the handle while it's still in the air.
Yeah.
I know it's not legal because we don't have the leash on, but hell, we do it anyway.
Yep.
Then again, I still like Fox 36s in my hand, so.
Yeah. I see here on Brodak's website, he's got some ARF Vectors 40s, electric. And looks like it has some ARF electric SV11s as well. Man, what a plane, SV11. I love it. That was my weapon of choice.
SV11's too big.
No, it's fine. It's not pulling that hard. It's not pulling that hard. It's not.
Yeah, it's too many ribs. I don't want to build it.
It's ARF. I mean, you just put it together.
You don't have to build it.
No, you just already covered all the stuff like that. Just join the wings like you do with any RC plane and
The last RF
control
I
system.
built, the last
But
RF I built was a Strega, and it had about 75 ribs in it. And I'm thinking, what am I
No,
doing?
no. This isn't like that.
No.
The SV11s, if you get a good ARF, like mine's only about 60 ounces finished with a Rojet 67 in it. Very
Yeah,
light.
I'd hate to tell you what my junkyard dog weighs.
Well, it's a Fox 35 powered airplane. It's obviously going to be light,
It's also only 49 inches.
right?
Yeah.
What's the weight?
Without the motor, before covering and no paint, 17 ounces.
Anyway,
Pretty light.
I'm done with that. Bill, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. I mean, just if you make that step up and you're gonna go in a flight and you're gonna go like, what was that? You know, and especially something that's reliable and consistent stuff like that. It just learning is so easy and fun at that point.
But like with the AR, I've done a couple of the ARF vectors. The last one I did for Samantha there when we had problems, I built the whole thing in a Saturday. I had the whole thing done.
That's awesome.
Taking it out of the box. By that night, it was done. I had more time in waiting for the epoxy to dry and stuff than I did sticking it together. That
That's
and hinging, cutting hinge pockets because it comes with them flex ones that I don't like. But yeah, you can have the whole airplane done in a day. Fly it the next day.
Can't beat that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I got a junior ringmaster kit too, and God, that's got some heavy wood in it.
Yeah, that's not good.
What about on Stunthangar? Sometimes they have on classifieds over there planes, that used planes that are just already ready to fly and all the stuff. For not, some are electric even. So, I mean, I'd grab one of those. Would you be interested in something like that, Bill?
I don't know, not yet, but I don't know if the FAA grounds the RC, it might be flying a lot of control line.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't. They keep saying that they're not going to hook it on control line, but let's see.
Well, so far we're safe because they don't consider us to be airplanes. So
that's right.
As long as they keep that, and then 400, they're talking about 400 feet, and we're well under that. So we're not doing anything that's on their radar. So
what it is, though,
apparently you don't live in Los Angeles.
And they said that, we're a tethered kite or whatever.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're wanting to put transponders on kites because these people are flying kites over 400 feet and stuff now.
Yeah, but we're not, can't. So therefore, they shouldn't want to do it to us.
But what I'm saying is, if they put in a rule for tethered kites and we're considered a kite, we'll have to do it. Doesn't matter how high ours flies. Somebody will say, well, they could do it if they really wanted to get it up that high.
Yeah, the park.
They can make the rule. I'm gonna say screw you, and I'm not gonna do it.
The park I normally fly out here in San Fernando Valley is closed on Tuesday because our grand president is landing at Van Nuys Airport right up the street from it, and we can't even fly control line because they're afraid we're going to fly our airplane in front of Air Force One.
Unreal.
I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty detrimental. I'm going to fly a magician high enough to interfere with Air Force One. And it's really going to matter. Okay.
That's what
They're not even that deeply into it, Jeff.
You never know what the FAA or the government's going to do. I mean.
Well, yeah, the Secret Service is all over the place already. because I was out there today. Secret Service is everywhere. They're already checking it out, and he's landing tomorrow.
I thought he was going to Nevada.
Thinking, why? Who cares?
Yeah, he's already shut us down a couple times here.
Well, he was in Daytona yesterday for the race.
Hmm.
And then he came here. He's supposed to land here tomorrow, and then he's going to be in Nevada 2 days from now. I'm thinking, why? Who cares?
You know what?
Just go.
I'm going back to Bill. Bill, did you ever see that those guys at Flight Test?
Yeah.
The stuff they make?
Yeah, they use that foam board stuff.
Yeah, the dollar foam board.
Cardboard hot glue.
How easy would it be to just hack up something with a dollar foam board, make it with a symmetric airfoil, right? And start having fun with it. If you put it in the ground, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just $2 plane, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be? It's just like easy, and you can make a couple of them if you make them like that. Make a fuselage.
The nice part is if you used electric power with it, you don't even have to flip the prop to get it started.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That would be a nice way to go.
My RC club, they fly during the winter. They're flying about once a month. They're flying on an indoor site, and it has at the high point the ceiling's about 30 feet. I'm trying to figure out if I can keep the baby ringmaster under 30 feet in a loop and stuff like that.
Why not?
So I know I can't do a wing over with it, but
that's true.
Not the world's most maneuverable airplane, but I can do an old time pattern with it. But you know, it's
build one of those Igor Berger.
I'm not wasting my time with that foamy shit.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Hey, Danny,
I knew if I had a baby flight streak, I could do it. Those things will fly inside themselves. But
Danny, put it on 24-foot lines and.
Well, you can do that too, but then there won't be a lot of maneuvering room. So.
You know.
What doesn't Igor fly his on? What are his 15 foot lines or?
Well, my little brother and I used to fly half-A airplanes on 15-foot lines and literally screw ourselves into the ground.
That's
all.
fast.
You know, there wasn't
Holy
enough room
crap.
to do anything. There wasn't enough room to do anything except
turn around circles quick.
Yeah, we'd have one of the other brothers pitting both airplanes, and we'd just fly races.
There'd be a whole lot of room. Just start low.
We burned up literally gallons of fuel in reed valve engines. All right, and
fun.
and stuff like that, and you know, but
I bet you used to try flying in your own basement.
Yeah.
5-foot lines.
I did talk to Alan Goff about the idea. We were going to, you know, Alan Goff is a stunt flyer, but he's also a scale modeler. And we had talked about possibly seeing if we could set up something with using the Gillow scale models, little rubber models, 20-inch wings or something like that. Maybe hook them up with electric with a throttle system like Steve was describing. Could you have some kind of a meaningful indoor scale contest like in the wintertime and stuff like that? And you could literally fly it on a high school basketball court or church auditorium or something like that.
Well, that's what Igor has them indoor contests.
Yeah, I know, but that foam stuff is just, I'm not building a damn F2B indoor model, you know? I'm just not going to try. I'm not going to work that hard on it. So
why couldn't you do like a indoor free flight? If you fly in that slow,
you could. Well, that's it. It wouldn't be much more than that. And you know, I got. I mean, I got no problem with anybody who enjoys flying indoor foamies and stuff like that. I just don't want to. I don't want to mess around with them. And so, and you know, something like a scale model would be something. You know, Alan Goss I mentioned was the scale. It'd be something they could like hone their, you know, it's something they like doing anyway. You know, they like scale models and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would probably be fairly easy to make like a humbug kind of plane with dollar foam.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're right on. You're on target with stuff like that. You can make simple airplanes, and if you don't have to fuel proof them or anything, that's fine.
Yep.
They got so serious about Depron foam, the thin foam and stuff, it actually became scarce. It's hard to find anymore.
That's
And
wild.
the 3 millimeter foam, the meat tray foam and
tray
stuff
foam.
like that. Yeah. And all of a sudden it got scarce.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah, that is. That just blows my mind. The idea of making them out of sheet balsa is, doable, but again, it's like, balsa is getting scarce and expensive, and if if you use heavy wood, those airplanes don't fly worth a darn. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's why I was kind of wondering if you wanted to do like stick and tissue, and how fast Igor flies them. I mean, they're not flying very fast.
Right.
That stick and tissue would take all the G-force that you would be putting on it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're hardly moving.
I don't know how to share these. I've been getting a bunch of pictures. My nephew has been doing the indoor stuff and had a very good time up at the indoor free flight meet. But he's been printing. He's been using his printer. He's printing the covering, the tissue that goes on his indoor scale models. So, and then prints it up and then covers the model with that, and gets a obviously very light, very accurate looking scale model.
Well, you just
out of that.
Put silkworms. You just stuff them in that little thing, and it just squirts out your silk for you.
Something like that, I guess. Yeah, you can take the silkworms and feed them a proper diet, and they can put all the color where you want it too, right? But,
yeah.
Speaking of indoor, I got that float video. Have you heard of that? The documentary that guy did about the F1D. Now, F1D is like the lightest weight indoor free flight. They fly for like 35 minutes in a salt mine.
Yeah.
The guy was like 10 years doing this video, and he had, the GoFundMe thing, and a whole lot of people were giving him quite a bit of money, and it was really, we're wondering if it was ever going to get done, but finally did.
Well, I seen a video that Dan Banjak had indoor flight, and he had a little thing on a pole, and they held it under the airplane. It gave it more lift, and that thing barely went. I mean, the propeller, it just barely went around.
Yeah, I don't have this on my PC, so I can only show it this way. That's on my phone. This is the, obviously, fin and rudder. That's all printed on the printer before it went on the balsa framework.
Wow.
Cool.
So you can get some pretty good color definition there, stuff like that.
So what is it? What is it? Plastic, or are they using something else?
No, it's regular indoor tissue. And I think he's just using an inkjet printer. I'm not sure.
That's right.
How is he doing that?
I thought he had a 3D printer and he was printing out.
No. Well, he's got a 3D printer, but this isn't plastic parts.
Oh, okay.
How is he printing that?
You take the tissue. He takes the tissue and puts it in his printer, and then he inkjets onto the tissue the color pattern. So that's a white piece of white tissue that's inked in with the national insignia and the yellow and all that. And you can see on that one, it's inkjetted blue with the yellow lettering on the bottom.
Wow.
Is that coming through?
Isn't that tissue paper too thin to run through the printer?
I'm kind of thinking that you have to tape it down to some heavier paper.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's not sure exactly how he's doing it. I know he said he had to get an 11 by 17 printer to be big enough, and I don't know. what else he's doing with it, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I think you're right. It would seem like you'd have to hold it down somehow. And it would seem like the inkjet itself would make the paper kind of pucker up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I don't know.
What's good?
Sure, look it. You haven't seen them in real life, just the pictures, and they look gorgeous there. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody's
It's
always-
amazing what people can do with that tissue.
Mhm.
You know, those FAC free flighters, you know, what they can
Yeah.
do with the tissue and that. I don't like tissue because, you get the humidity problems and it's sagging and all that and stuff. So
Mhm.
I know one of my electric free flights, I started with tissue. Then I tried that polyspan light, and that was at least stiff, but it would crack so easy, and you get rips in it and stuff.
Really?
And then I put on Ultra Coat Light, and that seemed to work pretty good.
I like Ultra Coat.
Oh,
Awesome.
Mhm.
Ultra
Got a few
Coat,
Ultra
anything's good.
Hey, you did a hell of a job on Naomi's airplane.
I like Ultra Coat, and you know what? I'm actually thinking of not doing as many tissue jobs. I'm still going to do it the odd time, but you know what? Life's too short. Life's
That's
just
about
getting
it.
too short.
I,
I much prefer just do it with the iron on, paint the fuselage, and let's go fly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. And it's like lightweight, it's lighter, and it's more durable, and it takes
right.
less time, and it actually takes less money if you come right down to it.
And you know what? I have an airplane that's 11 years old. It's not oil soaked, and it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I'm starting to think about this a little differently. I have a lot of respect for people who do the big finish and do the big, spray job and ink lines and all that. Yeah, it's great, but I just don't really want to make the time to do it very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you
You
mean.
can incline,
A good
You can
friend of
incline,
mine says
Monica,
that
if
he
you want to.
loves planes that oil soak because then he can tell his wife he needs a new airplane. And he
I don't
doesn't-
need a new airplane. I got 60 of them in the basement.
Well,
And
plus plus his wife flies, and he can always that's a sympathetic
Yeah.
ear. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? If I need an airplane bad enough, I got ones that are hers that I can fly.
Hey, my wife's got hobbies. I don't mess with her hobbies. She don't mess with my hobbies. So it's all right.
My
And
wife has
washes.
as
I know
many,
everybody that's the same way though.
my wife has more cardinals and twisters than I do.
this is the
Hey, guys,
new no-kill scale that he's making. This will be just a
Awesome.
profile fuselage. That's the tissue he
That's
printed
cool.
out. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I mean, that's camo and everything else on it. So
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So the
yeah.
other thing I'm using now is that class coat epoxy paint on the fuselage, and I really like that.
Class coat.
Yeah, I believe that's it. That
Yeah, I've heard that it's the same as K&B epoxy used to be and stuff like that. So, and that was all really good stuff. So,
Do you brush it or spray it?
it looks good if you brush it, but you can spray it too. But
Okay.
it really covers good, and I guess you can use a whole lot of nitro, and it can take it.
Okay, that's cool.
so I don't know.
All right, I found the information. You know how they do it?
Well, they do what?
Okay, how do they do this printing stuff? They use some kind of like a 3M77 super light on a piece of paper. They put it on top of the tissue paper and then running through the printer. That's it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then they remove the tissue paper off and put it on a plane. Simple as that.
Wow.
And actually, they use some wax paper by the looks of it. Some kind of wax paper, and then just put the wax paper with tissue on top of it into the printer.
Okay,
Ta-da!
that makes
That's
a
it.
ton of sense. Like that.
And I already found a bunch of videos here. Oh my goodness,
Yeah, I was
they
about to ask
really
you.
show you step by step. I mean, yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna copy and
Yeah.
paste this link if you guys want to take a look at it.
For us.
I'll put it here in the message in the chat box. Paste. Enter. Bam. Done.
One of our guys on Cox Engines forums was transferring the ink lines from American Junior rubber band planes over to some of his home built planes for both rubber and TD010s, and they looked really good. But I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly how he did it. There we go. Oh, over at RC Groups. Okay. Got it.
And if you scroll down on the page, you see a bunch of videos that are there in sequence.
Yeah, okay. I'm copying that to my notepad right now.
Yeah, so it's like
I'm getting a good stack of
the post number 14. So
okay.
So that's that, man. Just simple as that.
It does. When do you think they'll be cutting the Viking, or not the Viking, but that new one you just did the electric conversion for it?
The Viking conversion is already out.
No, I mean, it was the other one. I can't think of the one you showed last week.
The United?
The United, yeah.
Oh, that one, haven't finished it yet, so it won't be out for a little while yet.
Oh, okay.
So, but I have started a separate file on that. I'm going to make that the basis of a universal one. Try to make it oversized and make it adaptable. Make it so people can adapt it to different airplanes.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I got some ideas on that. So that'll work. That'll be something like we talked about last week. It'll have. Just make it so you can put it in with adjust it for the thrust line on your airplane and adjust it for a good battery box position on your airplane and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just as we sit here talking, I think I've made an executive decision that the airplane I'm building this year, that Cardinal, I'm going to cover it and iron on it, just see how good a finish I can do that way, as opposed to doping it. So I will use dope or some sort of paint on the fuselage, but the tails and the wing, I will iron it on and do my trim and see just how far I can go with that. Because I think I can save weight too.
Well,
I know you can save time and weight. So
yeah.
What color was that? Like a flip flop coating or?
Which one, on Naomi's?
Yeah.
On the Vector?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that transitions depending on what way you look at it.
I didn't even know Ultra Coat made something like that.
Yeah, it's nice stuff. It transitions into different colors, and they make 2 or 3 different ones too. So you can get ones that go purple one direction and green another, and it's kind of neat.
Oh, that'd be what Darren wants. Purple one direction and it'd be green the other.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, the plane you make for Naomi.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, she's gonna be happy like a pup.
She's already happy. She's thrilled. She can't wait to fly it. She's got the Vector with, she has a Tom Dixon 40 that she's putting into it. He reworked it, so it should run just beautifully for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to change colors in flight. And a sunny day and stuff, that thing is just going to be exploding. So
it'll be something different anyway.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question for the group. Like in some of these other competitions, like say free flight, it's gotten where the performance is just so high that it's gotten ridiculous. It's like, since this electric stuff, they got these really honking electric motors that they use in those quads now, and you try to get these max flights, and now there's guys that are getting 20 some maxes in a row. I mean, it shouldn't be that easy, but they have to keep cutting down the run or make the plane heavier or something or other. It's just this continuous battle to keep the competition level sort of reasonable. But you don't really have that much of a problem in control line, do you?
In speed, they do. Control line speed, they keep going up on line size and cutting back nitro.
Uh-huh.
To keep them under 200 miles an hour.
Okay.
And they keep going there anyway. So
yeah.
That's kicking ass, boy.
Well, any kind of racing event, no matter what how you try to get there, any racing event, they always figure out how to go faster with less over time. And they put restrictor plates on stock cars. They used to do that to slow them down, but they just go the same speed now. Unfortunately, they all go exactly the same. They all go this identical speed, which is really bad. But
did you see the race today?
No, I did not. I just heard about it. So I heard they had a really nasty crash.
Daytona ran today. Daytona was amazing.
Yeah.
Who won?
Denny Hamlin.
Oh, really? All right.
Joe Gibbs.
I tried to watch it yesterday.
Yeah, I got rained out yesterday. Two of my favorite things, and they both happened today. One was NASCAR, and the other is model airplanes.
There you go.
So I'm like a pig rolling around in mud right now.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of restrictor plate and drafting races myself.
Mm-hmm.
I love super speedway.
I loved them in the old days when they had 428s in them and they could pass, and you'd have 30, 40 passes in one race and stuff like that. But anymore,
those days were fun.
Yeah,
it's more competitive.
Are they
now,
still carbureted?
Now
those cars still carbureted. Are they?
No, they're injected now.
There's still push rod. Why I don't know.
Still push rod engines. Xfinity Racing, which is called Rookie Series, is still carbureted, and they still run the old school restrictor plates. But Cup Series, which is who knows what it's going to be next year. It's Monster Cup this year, and it has been for the last few. It was Sprint Cup before that. That's now it's fuel injected, and they have a special restrictor plate that works just under the injector hat on them. And it's so involved anymore. It's like Train's electric motors. I don't know nothing about them.
They all go the same.
They use throttle body fuel injectors, I guess.
Yeah. It's all factory gear. Or factory type gear, so to speak.
Yeah, that throttle body injector just bolts on like a carburetor. So.
Yeah, and it's all computer controlled, and the crew chief has a lot more work to do now than they used to. It used to be like, okay, back off the idle jet, and now we're good to go. Now it's like, okay,
now he's panicking. He's panicking with a laptop.
Does anybody but GM even have push rod engines anymore in their vehicles?
Everybody has to run push rod engine in NASCAR.
Right, but I mean in their vehicles that they sell. Does anyone besides GM have a push rod engine? I think GM's.
I don't think so. Ford is all over.
Ford. I know for a while they've been using overhead cams with their V8s.
Who was?
I know for a while now Ford's been using overhead cams with their V8 street engines.
Yeah.
I know the 5-liter Ford is a double overhead.
Yeah.
I know the 5-liter Chevy. I mean, I have a 4.7 in my Chevy pickup, and it's a push rod engine.
Yeah, my brother
just like the old one.
Push rod too. but it'll drop down to 4 cylinders and stuff like that.
Oh, it's got that timing brake in it.
I don't know how it works, but it'll drop out 4 cylinders, and he can get, I don't know, 26 miles to the gallon in his pickup truck on the expressway.
That's a pretty good deal in a way.
Len, I found it.
What's that?
The plane. I like the
Which
monocoque.
plane?
The one that you said you're covering for Naomi.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Did you see the
Isn't that cool?
I like it.
Show us a picture of it, Trent.
I'm not exactly a fan of that checkerboard, but the rest is beautiful.
checkerboard? There's no checkerboard.
Like a carbon looking kind of thing. On a
No,
flaps
I'll go
and
get
elevator.
I'll go get. Oh, I see. That's the. I know what you mean. That's the Kevlar.
Yeah.
Kevlar covering up.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Well, hey, you know, I could use that covering and then claim I have a molded airplane too. So
Yeah.
but I think there are some people who will know better. So
But like in that RC aerobatics, I mean, they used to, you know, just have a 60 size plane, and now I think they're way bigger, and most of them are electric, and they got that tiny wing on the top of the fuselage, and they got tip plates, and I think those planes cost several $1,000s now.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Some of the glider
They're
guys are
aeroplanes.
flying this the Maxa. Have you ever guys
Yeah.
heard of the Maxa RC plane?
Yeah.
4 meter. It's a 4 meter wingspan with a cord of, I think it's at least 12 inches or so, right? It's a
Yeah.
huge plane, and it weighs about 70 ounces.
Mhm.
Holy
Are you
moly!
saying they're aerobatic planes or high wingers?
No, this is an RC plane, a glider.
Yeah. With the aerobatic ones, they've
Oh.
got a little tiny wing on top of the fuselage.
Yeah.
I don't know, just
Yeah.
what
That straightens the wind out. That straightens the air out
Oh.
of the rudder.
You mean behind the canopy?
Yeah.
The wing back behind. Yeah, okay, I've seen that.
And they still got to come in under 12 pounds. So that big of an
12
airplane.
pounds. Oh,
Dennis.
shit, that's as much as me.
Dennis, your counter rotating prop thing, it's running with an in-runner or an out-runner?
It has an outrunner.
Outrunner. Okay, cool. And is it? Man, I'd love to see it. To hold in my
Well,
hand
I'm hoping he get, like say he's been bench running it and he hasn't had any airborne yet. That happens this summer, and I'm hoping that they work well enough. I hope he can bring one to Muncie. So
I'd like to see it.
right now it's just it's right now it's a bench monster. Nobody ever won anything with a bench monster. So
Yeah, but he's still got to test it, make sure how many hours it'll run without tearing up gears and this and that.
well, way back when I had an in-runner set up with a Astroflight their gearbox. I forget what they call it. It was the toughest little gearbox they made. And it's like a 3.3 to 1 gear reduction. So it's running an in-runner motor at like about 33,000 RPM.
Holy
to get a 10,000 RPM prop. And it really, really worked nice for 10 flights. And it blew out the gear in 10 flights.
Okay.
Yeah, so that became an outrunner. Quickly became an outrunner after that. But there was a neat setup, and that's the kind of thing he's looking at with the with this is his gear set's all plastic and everything like that. So he's getting matching plastics and getting the basic geometry right, and then getting the right kind of plastic and all that kind of stuff. He really needs a higher temperature print head so he can upgrade into a nylon gear instead of a plastic gear. Or
How about, remember, was it Webra? I think it was Webra. Had that.
Yeah, they had a gear reduction engine. I think OS Max had one too.
But Webra had the cog belt on it like a Harley Davidson.
Yeah. there were a couple of those, but I think it was OS Max had a gearbox built into the front case of the engine. They had a removable front cover, and they had a gearbox built into that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm wondering about on that counter rotating one, if you need it, instead of plastic gears, if they made a small enough cog belt for something that would do that. And then, because like on a Harley Davidson, hell, a damn one of them belts will go 100,000 miles. I can't believe that the cog setup lasts so long, but they say they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we talked about it. Yeah.
I've seen something that was relatively simple to make. Is like you take the motor and do a belt drive from the motor, and then a gear with a gear on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's a one-to-one transmission, and because you have gear to gear, it changes direction, and the belt keeps the same direction. So, like a timing belt or something like that. I think that's the easiest way to do it, and maybe the most practical way to do it.
It's just
after my last little experience with the gear drive and everything like that, I decided I would sit back and watch and see and let somebody else show me what a good gear drive was, or cog or belt drive or whatever drive. And I was going to sit back and let them be the experimenter next time. And if I like what I see, maybe I'll adopt it. Right.
Yeah.
But for the Hurricane, is that what that?
Well, he made it because he wanted to see if he could make one.
No, I mean, would you stick it? Wasn't it the Hurricane that had the?
I have a Seafire.
Oh, Seafire. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And it would look good with that on it. It would look it would look good. It would look good when the motor starts. When the two props turning opposite direction would look cooler than hell. Of course, once they get up to speed, you can't even see it. But
Yeah, but when you first start, they went really, really slow, and then gradually came up and let everybody see them for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what?
I know a guy who writes a startup routine for his timer that you could probably talk to him about that. So,
Dennis, I'm curious about this, and this is something probably that you can do. After you start the motor, put some streamers behind the motor, right? And I'm curious if the counter rotation actually straightens up the streams, right? And
that's a good point. I'm assuming that it doesn't.
Yeah, and I would love to compare the same exact thing with a motor with a single prop. Okay, and do them side by side after that, and compare both of them, because I'm suspecting that if you go more than 5-6 inches behind the prop, it's kind of streamlined already.
I think there's a certain curl, to the airstream no matter what. I think whatever direction the rear prop is going, that's going to maintain that integrity. That would be my speculation. The torque reaction should be canceling.
Yes.
But the airflow off that back prop is going to retain its integrity the same as if it was a single prop. My guess.
Yeah. That's what I'm curious about, because everybody says, "Oh, it's going to straighten out the stream." Like, I'm not.
I don't think it'll straighten the streamline. I think frankly, at this point, it's a piece of very interesting looking stuff that I'm still not sold on that there's a big payoff for it, even if it works well and everything like that. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because the props are getting lighter and lighter. And actually, Igor's props are like 14 grams or something like that for a 3-blade prop, a 12-inch diameter. And honestly, you can make a 2-blade prop in and under 8 grams, right? But that being said, you can, you don't have that much of gyroscopic precision for those light props anymore. So it's just really almost meaningless even worrying about it. And if you go with a bigger diameter and lower pitch, you slow them down even more. So there you go. And there you go.
Well, that's it. And what you were, like you were saying before, even you don't even have to go as Igor's approach is the good lightweight Zor prop. I would bet if you took the Zor and got really, really creative with it, you could probably remove a little bit of wood and a little bit of weight from it yet.
My 12-inch prop weighs about what, 12 grams?
Yeah, you could take a gram or two off of that,
Yeah.
probably. And I don't know at what point does it become. At some point, it becomes kind of
I mean,
yeah, you lose any meaning. You get a diminishing return certainly at some point.
yeah. I mean, look at this. Do you think this is bigger than the prop? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is more than 12 inches on it.
Yep.
Significant surface rate. It weighs 6.5 grams.
Okay.
What
It
if
has a
you,
lot of area. It doesn't have a hub, but it probably doesn't need it. And even if it had a hub, 6.5 grams. I mean, that's a lot of area for 6.5 grams.
Yeah, if I take all this material and I spread it to put it on a single propeller, right? We're gonna have several layers that overlap on top of each other, but you still have a 6.5 gram prop.
Yeah.
So I mean, what can I say? It's doable, right?
Yeah.
And just honestly, I don't think Igor knows how to make them light, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important to make them thin and certainly accurate and everything like that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, even lightweight, you can make it. I agree. You just sold meat. You can make a substantially lighter prop if you wanted, even compared to a 12-gram prop.
Yeah.
Frankly, you just showed me you can make a 6-gram prop. So
yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you about your airplane. You're using carbon fiber and you're leaving it natural color and everything like that. When the EAA first started doing the foam cover, fiberglass over foam, the very easy and stuff like that, they always specified that the airplanes had to be painted white because they're worried about solar load on the epoxy resin and things like that. The airplanes, they were mandated that they would be painted white. Do you have any concerns or issues with your black airplane? Does it really take on a lot of heat in the sun and stuff like that? Do you think you have any issues or concerns with that? With it getting hot or anything like that?
Well, in time, okay, the stuff that is compression molded in time, it gets like a little goosebumpy surface to it, right?
Okay.
The stuff that's hollow molded, it's usually fine. So I don't, it all depends on your technique on how you make them.
There's certainly the material itself, the fibers wouldn't deteriorate through the epoxy, and they wouldn't deteriorate in UV or anything like that, would they?
No.
I'm sure you're not loading them to their max anyway.
No.
But
yeah, there are two things. First of all, I use epoxy that's approved and used in aircraft, which has a UV deterrent that's inside of it, right? So it's not going to react to the UV rays at all. And so that's number one. Number two, carbon doesn't deteriorate.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean,
if you were to sand down,
what?
Excuse me. If you were to sand down the goose bumpiness that you were talking about, would it leave pits? Is that bubbles or is it outgassing or anything?
No, it's the material pushing back. Okay. When you do compression molding, you're usually squeeze the part to the finish size. You just like you are forging it. Okay.
Okay.
So because it has the built-in compression, right, in a part, as you put it into the sun, it wants to push back, right?
Okay.
So and also the sun is heating up the surface, which in turn softens it. So you have this combination of pushing back and the sun beating down on it. You give it a little bit of goosebumpy or something like that, but that comes with time.
Differential,
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, just it's gonna stay pretty nice for life.
Are you bored, one?
Even this one.
No,
This one
I'm
has a
okay.
little bit of that. See, I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay.
Lynn's gonna fall asleep on us again.
Well, I already did
Oh,
once.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
All right, Trey, and you got the stage.
Do you see it?
Keep going.
So let me go and put some light in here so I can maybe make some. I'm not sure if you see that. But do you see a little slight? I'm not sure if you can see it.
Sort of, yeah. I wouldn't recognize it if you didn't tell me what it was, but I see.
If you look on surface, it's not exactly super flat. It's just a little bumpy.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
So that's with this one. And when they are brand new and they come out of the mold, they look like this. You see nothing here, right?
Yeah.
But if I leave this swing up out in the sun for a long time, and it gets to warm up, what happens is that the foam inside of it is compressed about 30 thousandths of an inch, okay? And it's 1/32, right? And the foam is compressed to the finished size by 30 thousandths of an inch. So what happens, it's a closed cell foam. So those air bubbles that are closed, as you heat them up, they want to expand back to the original size. And they do that. You know, it happens and they do that in this kind of molding. But now if you have the hollow molding, they don't push back because you never squeeze the foam.
Yeah, there's no internal pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, we got a YouTube friend that wants to know if anybody knows of an A10 Warthog control line kit.
Not a kit.
No.
Any land?
Dare Hobbies, they're part of Brodak. They have an RC model. I think it's around a 30-inch wingspan. You could probably convert that to control line. It's not stunt capable, you know, it doesn't have a symmetrical wing or anything like that, but it would be a reasonable sport scale kind of thing. You could have some fun with that.
Yeah. Like a good Navy carrier plane.
Might be interesting, except I don't know that. Well, the real Warthog didn't go off a carrier, but
no, I know. I thought about that before I said it, but still,
yeah,
it looks like life it'll almost hover, and I was wondering if in model life have the same characteristic. Maybe not. With ducted fans or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
and that's our friend, our railroad modeler friend that was asking that. He calls himself SD70ACE Fan NS. So if you want to talk to him, that's what you call him. And that's all.
I think the basic design of a Warthog would make a really good stunt plane, though, because they were a good slow flying attack job.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, does anybody? We got another tuber. Wants to know if anybody here flies a RC helicopter. That's Monk. Monk's new. Welcome, Monk.
I'm not no good at it, but I have a couple.
Bring it home. Did you bring it home in a grocery bag, Jeff?
No, not even that close. I swept it out of the street and let the street sweeper pick it up.
Yeah. Sometimes if you want to be entertained, look up RC helicopters and then chicken dance. And that's what happens when they hit the ground and get all out of balance and start bouncing around, and nobody can get near it until it either runs out of gas or electricity. And it's quite a show sometimes. The electrics, smoke, and bits of it flying everywhere.
Yeah, the best
Chicken
luck
dance.
the best luck I ever had with a helicopter was with one of those little Cox jobs. You fire up the 049 and then send it flying. That's the best luck I've ever had with a helicopter.
They
Was that
work
like
good.
an auto gyro?
Well, you know,
Yeah,
you
just
can
go
make that
straight
sign. You can make that kind of copter fly with a Fox 35 on it too. You know.
Whoa!
Hey, come on, quit ragging on tip weight, Denny.
Now, hey, I'm just saying,
Alan,
you know, the torque reaction helicopters like that, you can
That would
power
be
them,
awesome.
make them any size, power them with anything, including a Fox
Power with
35.
a road
So,
jet. Yeah,
Next
exactly.
time I'll
you
try
ever
that.
see,
the
you
road
ever
jet with
see
a
Alan?
pipe would be fun to see. Yeah, that would be fun to see
You're
on a
not kidding.
One of the most
on a torque reaction
one of
copter.
the most
You
one
ever
of the
see
most
Alan
fun things.
Perez the auto gyro? Alan Perez auto the auto.
Yeah,
One of the most fun
auto the
things I can
gyro.
remember.
Yeah.
One of the most fun things I can remember doing as a kid was rubber banding the rag around the fuel tank of an 049 and firing it up and let it go in the garage. And we had a blast with that until we knocked out my dad's fluorescent lights. Since me and my buddy couldn't afford to replace them, we got in trouble when he got home from work. But that was fun.
Yeah.
Flying rags are great. Then we learned to take them out of the
Flying
garage.
rag. Cool.
Yeah, there's some guys that fly helicopters. I mean, I cannot keep up with the plane. I mean, with the helicopter itself, let alone think about what do I need to do with the RC transmitter in order to do that stuff. I'm looking at what they do over there. Like, how in all they can keep track of that stuff.
Yeah,
I can't think fast enough to keep track of it. Like, oh, it's very no, it's normal. It's very like,
yeah.
What in the world? It's just.
Yeah, I know some of the things they do. It's hard to just watch them, much less to contemplate, you know, controlling what it's doing. So
yeah, just thinking, what do I need to do with this remote control in order to do this 1 second part of their flight?
My biggest issue with the helicopter was, it's going right. Okay, now it's in the ground. And that's kind of where it stayed.
You have a lot more directions to deal with all at once. That's why. My buddy who flies them said to me, he said it's kind of the only way he could explain it to me verbally was it's like balancing two basketballs on top of each other.
And that makes perfect sense to me because it's almost impossible. It's possible.
Yeah, because it's going all different directions all the time and you got to understand it.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset totally than flying an airplane.
Knock yourself out. Go for it.
If you can connect into it, it works. Yeah.
You've only got one bolt and a shaft holding your ass into the air too. If that bolt ever broke, you'd just be headed for the ground in a free fall, I guess.
I wouldn't need the bolt to break. My helicopter headed for the ground on its own. I was okay with that.
Yeah. Just say it.
Yeah, I think they spin their main rotors on those helicopters at about 2,000 RPMs or something like that. I mean, it's just insane.
Mine could have been spinning.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of energy. That's an awful lot of energy if that gets loose.
Yeah, no kidding. And what they do with them is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you guys curious, in a chat box, I'm gonna give you a little something. It's not just first thing I found, so it's not nothing. Probably nothing, just super duper or whatever, you know. But this guy, this guy is known about about what he does. But he's just holy smokes.
No. Well, guys, it's almost 1 a.m. I think I'm going to weenie out on you. I'm going to call it a night. Rusty, you get a double gold star for working your patootie off to get everybody hooked up. Thanks for the perseverance. That was awesome.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I was getting
done.
serious. that. But I didn't think I was going to get it, but I finally
You
did.
got it.
And
So
We appreciate it.
what's going on, Rusty? Why is it lately been doing
listen,
that?
let me say what? Why was it doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing I know is I watched the SpaceX launch today, and I wanted to use the earphones because Holly was watching TV. And when I plugged the earphones in, it might have screwed my settings, but on the other hand, it acted like it was Jitsi because everything would work fine. I ran a test show on my own channel for 5 minutes before I did the live show just to make sure everything was right, and it worked fine. Every time I logged into Sparky's channel and started the show, it automatically turned off all of my stuff. I mean, I would have it all set up, test sounds work. I'd click start stream and boom, everything I had would turn off. And other than doing it and redoing it and trying different orders of starting it up, I finally hit the right order and it did it. But golly, I tell you what, that it was just frustrating. But I was about to give up. Yeah, I'm glad I got it. Hey, we got to remember
persevering. Yeah, thanks for persevering.
Yeah,
Everybody else, I think we had we had a lot of fun tonight. So thanks for all that.
Yeah.
And no show Friday,
Yeah.
right? No show
that
Friday.
is correct.
Okay.
This coming Friday, I won't be here. I'll
Okay.
be here the following Monday though, and
Alright.
hopefully everything. Will
See
everything will
next
work
Monday
slick
then.
as I planned. Kidding Monday, yeah. Okay,
All
well,
right.
let me ask you this: did y'all have a decent discussion before I finally got in? All of that time, were y'all able to talk to each other?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had. Yeah, it was fine.
Everybody was swearing so bad, though. I had to keep telling them, you can't, just in case.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. I got to go back and see if the YouTube feed was even operating. But
It wasn't.
anyway,
They couldn't hear
we
us.
got a new member tonight. We got a new member tonight. His name's Monk. I think he's an RC guy, but Monk, come back and visit us next week. Monday night. Yeah, that'll be the next Monday, and get to know us a little bit better. But anyway, who's leaving right now? Is everybody
I'm
kicking out?
bailing now, so everybody.
Yeah, I'm bailing out on it.
Yeah, me
All right,
too.
I'm gonna weenie out too. I guess go
Okay,
for
we'll
night.
call it then.
All
The
right, I'll
usual
hang
thanks
out if
to all
everybody
the
else wants to.
All right, good night, guys.
yeah.
Good night,
I'll
everybody.
go ahead.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
See you in a week.
Man,
Good
what about
night.
you? You hanging out?
I'll talk for a couple of minutes if you want.
Okay.
I can
Well, let
hang
me
out.
say
Hey,
the
Sure.
YouTube.
Okay, Jeff.
Let me
And
say the
there's-
YouTube goodbyes, and then I'm going to go ahead and close that stream. So all of you dudes, the ones that stuck with us while I was trying to hash out the tech problems early on, I appreciate your patience. And we wouldn't be as great without y'all, because there's more y'all than there are of us in here. So everybody have a great night, and so I'm going to go ahead and click the end stream button for the tube, and everybody have a great night, and
You too, Rusty.
we'll see y'all.
Night,
Yeah,
Rusty.
we'll see y'all next
Good night.
Monday. We're skipping Friday.
Next Monday. You
Good
betcha.
night.
Good night.
That's right. Next Monday. Good night. And stop live stream. It should be cutting off any moment now. And click the other button. I think it's already off. Stop. This Jitsi is so slow when I push buttons. There we go.